Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the club call. What? What's up?
Just a bit of a warning for you scream.
I didn't scream.
Yeah.
There was no screaming. I was clearing my throat. That's all it was. I was clearing my throat ahead of the club call because I know so many people are going to call up tonight and talk to us about Everton Football Club and the wonder of it that I'm getting my voice tip-top. What Pavarotti used to do before he went on to gigs. Exactly what I've just done.
He didn't do that.
That's what he did do. He did. What did he do then? Have you got your mic on? Don't talk and not have your mic on.
Belch. You didn't go.
I didn't belch.
He didn't belch. No, he didn't belch. He sort of just
made some strange noise.
He did make a strange noise.
What it basically
more like a scream.
It was. I think I could get in the next Jurassic Park with what I've just done there.
Maybe. Hummed. What did he do? I didn't know. Bummed. Oh, hummed.
Frequency.
What's he saying? What are you talking about? Listen, the less you talk about anything with two M's in it, the better.
Leave it. Move on.
Only Steve Kelly still has nightmares about some of the things you talk about in here.
He does, to be fair.
Let's just leave it there. And anyway, listen, your opportunity to give us a call to talk about Everton. If you're on Toffee TV Premier, the link is at the top. All you need to do is click that link. Have a pair of headphones on as well. Just makes the sound better for everybody. And you can hear us in case we make mad screams. Which does happen. Give us a call about anything. I know we're going to get lots of Americans giving us a call. I know Pat's going to give us a call. I just know.
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't you?
Pat's
because
tremendous.
Those people feel like they've got no one to talk to. But I think there's loads of people in the comments right now who should be giving us a call as well.
Of course there is.
So
he's saying they're lazy.
I do. I am. I'm calling the people out.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Why type when you could talk? You could just talk. You could come on and have a conversation. There's not enough conversation in the world, and that's what's leading to a lot of the issues that we see on social media.
Correct.
Not enough people are just having a conversation with each other. They're just reading tweets in their own head and going, "Oh, he's being angry there," and then going, "I'm going to be angry back." When you could come on and just be dead civil and
just have a conversation.
And you know what? If we disagree, then that's fine because we'll have talked it through. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Well, that's what it's about, isn't it? Talking stuff through. It's also about hitting the like button. It's also about subscribing if you haven't. It's also about subscribing to Toffee TV Football.
Do you know only X amount of people who watch this video subscribe to Toffee TV?
Steve Bartlett just saying up there.
There's a trend of that.
There is a trend. That's everywhere, isn't it?
If you like a high performance podcast, then why aren't you subscribing to it? Because of you, Jake. That's why, because of you.
Yeah. Just easy. Just do it, though. Just do it, though.
Just very easy to do it.
Do it. Very easy to do. But you're right in terms of conversation. People like to hide behind a keyboard and misinterpret stuff.
There's a lot of missing.
But if they don't agree, they just become angry.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, isn't it? That's the way it is.
Let's talk it through. Let's talk it through. And then decide I'm right. That's a Clough.
Well, why wouldn't you do it?
That's a Clough thing.
You talk it through and you do it. Why wouldn't you?
We talk it.
But it's one of them, isn't it? That's what happens. That's what life is nowadays. That's where it's gone to. Bad. It's bad. It's bad. People just get offended.
That's the other thing. People just get offended.
Nobody get offended if you don't agree with you. You're offended. But that's the way it is, isn't it? I just love people don't listen to what you actually say, think you say something, and then have that in their mind. That's what happens. There you go. There's a lot of that. And those people are idiots. So, let's move on.
Let's
move on. Gary Ward says, howdy. Adam Conroy says, hey guys, after the Chester defeat, I am convinced we are going down.
Oh, Rick, come on.
Are the reports right? Everton would have to cease trading if we go down. No, they couldn't be more wrong. Adam, 18 days late. He's 18 days late with his April Fool's stuff here. Come on, mate. You've had lots of conversations,
Johnny. On there, lad. You've gone fully...
Ad's had a nightmare.
You've gone fully in there.
Adam has had a nightmare. Not as bad as Steve Kelly's nightmares about Ned. But,
no.
He's had a mate.
No, not.
Jack says, afternoon, gents. Hope you're well. I'm just wondering what the name of the podcast Ped was talking about the other day about it showing the corruption of the police and Murdochs. No idea.
It was.
This will be after I've gone, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Minutes it's not football. Baz has left the building.
It was. Let me just. Yeah. It was the. It was. Well, it wasn't a Succession podcast. I'll tell you that right now, but because that's what I've been listening to.
Oh,
today.
okay.
What was it? Trying to get the exact name for you, but I know this is
Okay. Well, it's
great.
It's riveting. It's riveting. I'm sure you'll find it in a minute, eh? And Gaz says, talking of upbeat pre-match music to increase the build-up to kick-off, discussed on our premiere show yesterday. Any particular song ideas? This for lads and Premier members. I'll start with Seven Nation Army by White Stripes.
Oh, everyone plays that.
Great gym song and would work.
And then the other one they all seem to be playing recently is.
All right,
Songs
Grigg,
about
full
20.
Will Grigg.
I know, but.
I mean, it's not. It's, my lover's got the money. He's got his trombolese.
Oh, Bill can write that.
Is he?
Yeah, Jenny sung it.
I was wondering when you were going to start, when you were going to do it. Really. Right, we have got
Mark.
a caller. It's Mark. Let's get.
These headphones are really small.
Why is this work like this?
I don't know. Go on. There we go.
Evans.
Mark, go on, mate.
Hi, evening, boys. How are we getting on?
All right, mate.
Hi, Mark.
All right, mate. You know what? I nearly called in last week, but I missed you guys.
Okay.
To genuinely apologise for how I felt about Dyche when he first got signed, because I didn't want him as manager.
Okay.
And after this weekend, I'm not so sure whether I should have.
You're glad you never phoned up last week, that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I think I would have been. I would have made myself look a bit of a fool, to be honest with you. Just shocking, isn't it? I think after last season, we're all the same. I think after last season and being so emotionally invested in what the outcome was going to be, and being like more nervous than a cat of nine tails in a room full of rocking chairs, as Astro might say.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Astro.
It's just more the same again, isn't it? And I feel myself just losing the will to fight, and it's just like if it's going to happen, just let it happen. What worse can be? What else can possibly go wrong?
They'll never throw that out there with Everton, because they'll always find something, mate. They'll always find something. Just when you think you're lower than the snake's belly, Everton will find something else. But listen, the manager got it hugely wrong at the weekend. Poor team selection, poor tactics for what players he put out there. Not necessarily the 4-4-2. Seen people going, well, it's Dyche and he does play 4-4-2 at times. But yeah, no problem with that. But play the right players then. Play the right people. If you're playing a 4-4-2, play your strikers. Don't ask a winger who doesn't go up there and a forward who's really a split striker, and he'll end up in his own half more than he'll push the other team back, change it that way. But listen,
right back,
Yeah, I know. Well, the Godfrey thing as well. It was, yeah. He seemed to go against a lot of the things he'd done early on. That was what was a bit strange. But it's early days. It wound me up as well. But you've got to just let him get on with it. He'll learn very quickly that these players can't do it.
That's the thing, and it's like I don't know whether or not he's just a sort of manager that's very stubborn.
Maybe. Or what about this, Mark? What about every Everton manager comes in and there's some kind of kryptonite at Goodison and Finch Farm, whereas they just lose everything you thought they were before they come in, apart from Benitez, who was he was everything we thought he was. They all seem to go down a rabbit hole where you're just like, why are they doing this? Yeah. I mean, we've seen Marco Silva's team at the weekend keeping possession, knocking the ball around. Where was that when he was our manager? And we have money and good players, you know what I mean? So it is weird. It is weird.
I mentioned on previous videos just recently about managers seem to fall upwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Poor old Frank, who seems to be doing just...
Well, he's still falling up. He's still falling upwards, hasn't he? I mean, he's doing a terrible job of it, but he's still falling. It's mad. I don't get it.
Bizarre,
Yeah.
I think the one thing, Mark, I mean, you're right to be worried. I said on something else, that last half an hour on Saturday terrified me, that there was just nothing. There was the way we're feeling, which is we're still kind of scarred from last season's sleepless nights, aren't we? So it doesn't quite seem the same this season, but it's worse if that makes sense. The players just seem to be numb themselves when it went 2-1 on Saturday. There was no response. There was no urgency. It was weird.
They might as well just gone and got the showers then and buggered off home. 2-1, what was the point in playing out the rest of the game? They weren't going to do anything. But it's like, I don't understand how we keep replacing managers and like they've been kept completely in the dark about what the problems are at Everton and what players just don't cut it because they're not at the standard they need to be. So every player gets given another clean slate. I mean, how many clean slates has Michael Keane had?
Yeah. Lots. Yeah. He's not the only one, to be fair, but lots,
Exactly. But, it just feels like you're on a merry-go-round and you say, here we go again. He's going to give everyone a chance again. Everyone will get an opportunity to let him down again.
Yeah.
Us as fans, we know, what players you play and what ones you don't play.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you do feel like sometimes, and quite clearly this would never ever happen, but you do feel like sometimes the manager should like sit down with some fans and go, lads, just bring me up to speed on who's crap. Do you know what I mean? It saved them a lot of because we know as fans, having watched these players in this team, who is likely to let you down at some stage, isn't it?
How effective would that be?
Yeah, they're not going to add because
Jimmy Martin.
Maybe ask Jimmy Martin. Yeah, he'll tell
Jimmy Martin's role should be at the club.
He'll tell him.
Sitting down with every new manager. I mean, Jimmy Martin's had more managers than hot dinners, but he should sit down and go, right, boss, let me just tell you who the people are you need to be looking out for. On the down low. That should be, that's it.
And that's similar with the old DCL thing. That's just been dragging on. If you don't say he's on the grass or he's training or we'll see how he's going, just say, look, don't ask me about him because he's not there. He's got a thing with all of his players whereby he wants them all like beyond fit before he'll consider them for the first team, which is fair enough.
You know what, Mark? That's all right. That's fine. No problem with that because then when they're in the squad, then aren't they? They're ready to play. No problem with that. But then tell the press that. Put that out there. Put that out there and say he won't be considered for 2 weeks. End of brief because he's not fit.
The media, it's that easy, right? An hour before the press conference, put out there who's injured and what the comeback looks like it's going to be. Brief the media ahead of time. But ultimately, I've said this a million times. You've got to let fans know what's going on. The media is the way of getting through, whether it's your own media or whether it's someone else's media. Speak to them and go, listen, this is the situation. We're not even considering Dominic Calvert-Lewin or whoever it is for the next few weeks. And they don't, and they forget. And I keep on sort of having to remind people of this. Like the whole point of the media is, no matter what you think of it, the whole point of it is it's news. It's news for the people that it's intended for, which is us, the fans. So when you're asked a question, and I hate, by the way, this is a consistent thing. I hate this when managers dodge this. Every manager, when you're asked a question, your reply is going directly to the fan base, who because they're the only ones who care, really, whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fit or not. So-and-so on Sky Sports doesn't care. He doesn't care when, whether so-and-so's available. You turn to the Everton fan base. Tell the Everton fan base directly. If Andrews Townsend's not available, then say, listen, he's done. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's not available, say, Dominic Calvert-Lewin will not be available for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Instead of having to answer the question every single week, it annoys me. It's one of the things that annoys me most. You're supposed to tell us, and if you don't want to tell us, then just say he isn't available for the foreseeable future. Stop asking me. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Week on week.
Yeah.
And you're always, second guessing yourself, or maybe this will be the week that he's come back, or he's even on the bench. You know what I mean? Like that was the other thing. Like last weekend, it was all reported. It looked like he was going to be good to go, and even in the squad.
Yeah. Don't put it out there. Don't put YouTube videos up that have like Dom is back in training. Why would you do that to your fan base? You're basically trolling your own fan base. Why would you do that? Just don't say anything. Don't say anything. Just say to the guys who are doing the media, no, when you're taking a picture, don't take a picture of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Don't video Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Take pictures of everybody else. Don't give anybody any even hope. Because at 2 o'clock on Saturday, when we played Fulham, when that team came out, people who were expecting Dominic Calvert-Lewin to play were like, oh no. And we didn't need that. I don't understand why this football club keeps shooting itself in the foot when it comes to media and PR and trying to get the fan base going.
Yeah, Ped, it's because we're Everton, mate.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, totally forgot. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I forgot about that bit. Yeah.
Yeah. The board's number one job this season seems to have been troll the fans.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. People. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't get me started, mate. Don't get
early.
me.
It's early, Mark.
Don't put that 50 pence in me, mate.
Don't
put that 50 pence in me.
It's too early.
No, it is too early. So yeah, I won't pull that and lob it into the studio with you. No.
Yeah.
But no, thankfully we've got you guys to keep us on the straight and narrow, and
we'll see.
Cheers. Cheers, mate.
Nice one, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers,
right,
mate.
Guys, cheers, mate.
Take care. Ta-ra, pal. Ta-ra. Tony Mayart, if you're a Premier member,
I've just seen you.
Message in Premier, please, and you'll see the link. It's there.
Yeah,
it's
there.
as Mark's just proved. It's there.
It's just on his dad's voice.
It's there. I know, because I keep saying, how'd you get it? And people are saying, you just do this, and we're still seeing the same question. It's just there. Matty Bush says here, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcomes. Exactly what we're doing with our squad, changing the manager year after year, but not the players. I know, but we have brought players in, haven't we? We have brought players in as well. We just haven't brought the right players in. We just haven't brought the right people in for the job. The Premier League, power, pace, mobility. They're the players you've got to target. Yeah, it's lovely having not skillful players. We all want them, but you've got to have ones with a history of scoring goals as well, first and foremost. You can't build a team with 0 goals in it and then wonder why you can't score goals. It can't be done.
Yeah.
It's never been done. It can't be done. The teams who are getting out of trouble, who might have been in a sticky situation, are all teams that have got lads who put the ball in the back of the net. You know, Villa, look at Villa. They were 4th from bottom when Emery took over. They're 6 points off a Champions League place at the moment, and all he's done was organised them at the back, and they've got the lads in the top end of the pitch creating them. Ollie Watkins has done brilliantly for them. This league, said it a million times, not difficult, but if you buy the wrong players, it becomes very, very, very difficult. And you know, Fulham aren't great, are they? They just come up. They've had a lad up front who scored goals. Others have weighed in with goals, and there you go. It's
about playing a style of football that suits your players and that they can do well. That's the basis of football. It's not difficult, is it? It's the basis of football is doing something that works for you. He did it at Burnley for years, Sean Dyche. He had a set of players, hard work, and all bought into it. You've got to have it both ways, haven't you? If you've got a collection of talented footballers, you don't play the way Dyche plays, because they're not their skill set, and maybe that's where we are. Maybe certainly with the Dyche situation, it's like people don't fully buy into it because maybe some of them think they're too good for it. Maybe some of them think they shouldn't be doing these kind of things. Maybe they don't all think it's what they should be doing and they're too good for it. Well, I can tell you right now, you're not too good for it. No one's too good for working hard. No one is. It's the basis of any football team. Switch Man City on tonight and watch how hard they work. And they're the best out there. You know.
What can you do? Mike Cosgrove says, afternoon lads, catching up on the show early, and I'm very disappointed not to be Homer Simpson.
Well, you don't come to the studio.
You don't come to the studio now, so that's why.
You're busy watching Marine win trophies.
That's it. Paul Gold says, Adam's gone full dick. With his earlier.
Dick L. You've got
Dick L.
Not full.
Dick L.
Not full.
Dick L. No, full Dick L. Adam Lilford says, been catching up on previous shows from this week, and I have mixed thoughts on the pathway for youngsters. On one hand, they need to know there's a chance of progression, but on the other hand, I have to ask questions about a player's mentality and faith in their own ability. If signing players in your position makes you want to jump ship, Obviously, Rooney was different as he knew he was good enough, but I would want all players coming in to share his mentality.
Doesn't work like that, though, does it?
No.
Ultimately, and if you did miss the conversation was, signing James Garner, that's basically,
Pushed Isaac Price.
push Isaac, as that meant Isaac Price has looked at it and gone, well, what's the point? He didn't have a new contract himself, so that might have made his decision for him. But personally, I look at Isaac Price and I think, well, if that's the case, why didn't he send them on loan? If you've just brought another player in front of you, why didn't he send them on loan? Why he'd be thinking, well, I haven't got a new contract. There's another player in front of me, and you're not sending me on loan. What's your plan for me? And if they didn't have a plan for him, then I would be looking elsewhere. Yeah, all footballers, doesn't matter who they are, should be looking out for themselves. It's their career. It's their career. And a lot of young footballers are now doing that. They're getting management when they're really young. And they're taking those steps of saying, I need to look after myself. Because ultimately, that's all you've got, isn't it? Your career only lasts 15 years. That 15 years will go like that. And it's how you negotiate it. Look at someone like Mason Holgate, yeah, he'll come out of football a very wealthy person. But he'll come out of it with no accolades, nothing. Yeah, he'll be wealthy, he'll be looked after for the rest of his time, and that's great. But it's the other thing, isn't it? It's the other thing that drives footballers on. Winning trophies, playing every week. That's what drives the best on. And I applaud young players for saying, no, I could stay at Everton, I could sign a new contract, I could sit here for another 2 years and I'm not playing. I applaud a footballer for saying, no, I'm taking control of my career. I'm going to another country. I want to learn. I think that's what all footballers should be doing. Yes, we've got a personal stake in it because it's our player, and people might feel like, terrible, I should be staying at Everton, play for the badge, all that. Not. He'll have looked at other players and gone, that fella was still at Everton when he was 22, 23, whatever. Seen Nathan Broadhead scored a couple of goals last night for Ipswich, got them the win, put them top. What is he now, 23, 24?
25.
He's only just got his first Welsh cap. He could have been, if he'd maybe left Everton a year earlier, he could have gone to a World Cup.
With Wales,
You know what I mean? He could have easily have gone. Wales have not got loads of brilliant players. If he'd left Everton 2 years before, he could have easily, because he's a talented player at a level, at a level that Wales look at them. He could have gone to a World Cup. This young lad looking at Northern Ireland thinking, these go to the Euros.
I could be part of it, yeah.
I could go to the next Euros at 20 years of age. I could go to those Euros if they qualify. That's what I'd be looking at.
Yeah,
if I was him.
Absolutely.
So, but that's up to a football club. Any football club, by the way, to say, we know where you're going. You're either coming with us or you're not. I think leaving players, it's another year, it's another year. That's what we've done that too many times. So, the football club have to get this right. And they haven't in the last few years. Right, we've got Jordan on the line.
Hi there.
Hello, Jordan. Are you there?
I'm there.
Where are you?
Dartmouth.
Nice.
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Nice. I like it.
Very nice.
Yep. So here's why I'm saying. I mean, Saturday was like a balloon. Just a balloon laying the arrow. Just that's clear. But I still hold on to hope with actual potential substance.
Good.
Okay.
I mean, Dom, a new thing pertaining to Dom, and if you and stop me if you don't want to hear about the guy, is that they actually have a timestamp for him coming on, which is a new thing.
Yeah.
And if that timestamp it turns out to be good, then there's potential good news for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
As for the 6 games after that, Abdoulaye Doucouré comes back.
Yeah.
He knows that he goofed and that he let himself and others down with this moment of head loss. And he knows the contrast between how things have gone with him in there and the 2 matches where he didn't feature. He's going to want to make all kinds of amends for that when he comes in. And he's going to be playing out of his skin.
Yeah.
If I know anything at all about him.
Absolutely.
And that gives me hope. And I honestly think and if this doesn't come good at all, you can take the piss out of the comments.
No, go on.
Later on, but I think 8 to 10 points. Whether it'll be enough, we'll see. But 8 to 10 points in the remaining 7 games, and a lot of it's going to be DCL and Decore at the front of it.
Mm.
They improve every member of the team when they're there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, yeah. And as for the friendly that you had talked about earlier against Chester,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I'm not worried about that to the extent that understandably many are, and I'm not going to deny people their concern, anger, or anything else, is because remember during the World Cup when we bossed every friendly we played in, and then we fell to absolute bits in January?
Yeah.
That's why. It's not a very strong correlation necessarily.
No. It's I couldn't care less. The fair we were sitting here yesterday and it was like got beat apparently, and we were like, okay, but what did Dom play? It was like he played 70 minutes, and that's the only metric that anyone should take out. That I couldn't care less. It's a friendly, so a few lads could run around a little bit and make sure, and the manager could check if they're fit or not, or give them an extra bit of time. I couldn't care less if we got beat. What does it matter? I've watched countless friendlies in summers and gone or whatever. The only metric that matters is that Dominic Calvert-Lewin played 70 minutes, and off the back of that, hopefully he's fit. That's the only metric that matters. Anyone else who's like, oh, got beat by Chester, let people on the internet make memes and laugh. Who cares? The only metric is Dominic Calvert-Lewin played 70 minutes, and that means that hopefully he's back for Saturday, and we know the difference that's going to make to our football team. And you're absolutely right. Next Thursday, we play Newcastle at home, and hopefully we'll have Decore back and Dominic Calvert-Lewin back, touch wood. And hopefully, you're absolutely right, 8 points would give us a huge chance of staying in the Premier League, because we know how bad, us included, the bottom 5 teams are. Yep. So having Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Decore back for those games is huge, is absolutely huge. And let's hope it happens. I'm not, that's all you can hope for, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we saw that everyone that bottom 5 not only lost, but lost decisively. Yeah. Leeds in particular did us a solid by making sure we weren't the most embarrassed team that week. This may sound like the wrongest time for me to be saying anything with any kind of gloatiness about it, but we took 4 off of these. They're as crap as any of us, any of the rest of us down there. There aren't 3 teams worse than us, but there are definitely 3 teams as bad as us, at least. Will it be enough?
That's the spirit.
Will it be in 7 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that it's come to this again for both us and countries and clubs like Leeds is pathetic. I know. It shouldn't have come to that. Well,
it's more pathetic for us than it is for Leeds. Because let's not forget, Leeds have only been back in the Premier League. This will be their 3rd season back in the Premier League. So it's more pathetic for us because of all the money we've spent. But that doesn't really matter. You're right. We're still in there. They're down. The 3 teams below us and Leeds above us. You're right. They're not any better than us, and they're not really that much worse than us. It's a case now of Ebbing trying to get some points, and it will be very, very close. It will be 3 out of us 5. But we saw last season, it wasn't like we stayed up, but we weren't miles better than the teams that went down. It's just that in those moments, certainly the Palace game and the Leicester and the Chelsea game, we had just enough to get us over the line because we had a player like Richarlison. We don't have a player like Richarlison this season, so it's going to be very tough. But it is pathetic. It's pathetic. Even if we stay, this is the thing I think a lot of people should think about. It's really hard. Even if we stay up, it's still massively pathetic, and I think that doesn't always sort of click with people. We are bad, and this whole club is bad, and that needs to be sorted out as soon as possible. And it is. And I know a lot of people take it bit by bit, little fight at a time, but This whole thing needs to be addressed soon. Otherwise, next season we'll be in it. And who knows with next season, whether we get a points deduction or we get a transfer embargo or whatever slap on the wrist we get. This is bad. And it's been bad for a while. And it really, really needs to get itself sorted out. There you go. Dominic Calvert-Lewin posted on his socials. Ready for Saturday. There you go.
Bring on
Good
Saturday.
stuff.
Bring on
Good
Saturday.
stuff. But so, yeah, we have to get through this little period. But people have to remember how bad this whole situation is and not just forget like we did last season and go into the next season with our blinkers on going, it'll be all right, don't worry, Frank's on the case. No, this has to be sorted out right now. You know, whatever happens.
Absolutely. Sorted it. Yeah. And we put pressure on the board. We put pressure on the owner to sell up. We bounce the board even. We trying to improve the squad. And it's not me being personal saying that any player is replaceable if the person coming in can be better, because like that's true of any club.
Yeah.
And can I say heck words this late, at around this time?
You say what you want. I'm not responsible.
Right. That's cool. And I won't take the shit houses, shit bags, and shitty shits talk from any of us, because I won't take their anger away from us, because everything about the current situation sucks at basically every level. I don't have contempt for the players, but I know they need to do a lot more than they have been.
Yeah.
The board have been absolute sex arses. They've been absolutely. The owner is clueless.
Yeah.
And I see Chelsea challenging for a speed run record at destroying a great club with Todd Bowley. They did the clueless owner strat, and they brought in the Lampard variation of the strategy, and then Potter, which was like clipping through the floor and saving a lot of time.
Yeah.
And spending $500 million pounds to flush it.
Yeah,
to flush
they're having a good go. They're having a real good go of trying to keep up with Everton. Fair play to them. It is a rate. So maybe what it is maybe it is Brewster's Millions, and there's only one pile of cash, and it's some sort of celebrity game show that we're just not aware of at the moment. Maybe they only broadcast it on Billionaires TV or something.
Maybe.
And I don't know.
Maybe.
The thing is, Sean Dyche is going to make clear that they can't have a repeat of the flop that was Everton versus Fulham. He doesn't suffer that kind of thing gladly, and where people begin to just lose their nerve in mid game. He's going to be like, okay, this can't happen again. This was absolutely shot. You were better than this. You can't be better than this again, and you better be better than this.
Can you do me a favour? Can you put Jordan back on for us? Bloody hell, Sean.
Well received.
Yeah, that was tremendous. That was a tremendous bit. I was very much like a Ned impression.
It was like a Ned impression.
I do a good Sean.
In all fairness. You don't do a good Sean Dyche, Ned. You don't.
And I know that, and I'm pretty. Also, how about I get ahead of something that I know is going to boil a lot of blue piss? Because I was on Twitter a while ago, against my better judgment, and yes, I saw like an Alex Iwobi post about like some interview they had, and much like Don's interview last year, I will put both of my arms on that having been planned months in advance, with Everton's form not even been around it. Yeah. Calm down, breathe. I say to anyone who looks at that and is having daggers in their eyes.
I think, Jordan, footballers are probably just best staying away from social media, because they just seem to make the stupidest statements at the wrong possible time. I just stay away. And I know people go, no, they just tend to put their foot in their mouths quite often. So,
you include Dom in that last year, or?
Yes, massively. I just think there is I don't criticise. By the way, I'm not like criticising them for the things. I don't criticise Dom for things. There is just reading. There's reading the room is just. You can't always. You don't set the house on fire, but there's times when you just feel like they're pouring fuel onto it, and I just think I just think that there's times when, you know, footballers don't help themselves, especially when they write that, you know, you've been beaten and they haven't particularly played well, and they'll come on and say something really stupid. And all it is a red rag to a bull, isn't it? Whereas I think sometimes they should just go back to work, get training, and do all that kind of thing.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that. I leave it to the next caller.
Thank you, Jordan.
And up for friggin' Toffees.
Magnificent call.
Yes.
Great swearing and
great impression of
Sean Dyche clearly is in the house with you.
I'll say just one thing about the local team. They
Go on.
drew against the table leaders. They showed fight, heart, and desire and all that stuff, and I feel pretty good.
There you
That's
go.
all.
There you go. Good stuff. Thanks, Jordan.
Cheers, Jordan.
See you later,
See you,
mate.
mate. Salam, mate.
Some incredible swear words there. I have to go back and listen to the tape and write some of those down.
There was some. You kind of knew what he meant.
But
though,
what I love this though, he was so Canadian. He asked for permission.
He did.
To swear.
It's fine. It's just fair play. Fair play. Adam says, apologies for my last comments. However, relax, we may be playing badly at least. Don't know. We may be. Everton have just launched a new rewards program, which they've just sent an email.
Tremendous stuff.
There you go.
Tremendous stuff. Thanks for that.
Mike Cosgrove says, I know I need to get in, miss those lovely coffees that Ned never makes. Absolutely. Brad says, you've been talking about players suiting a style of play. Do you think if Rondon was still here, he would have suited Dyche's style of play?
If that style of play is not having to run anywhere and nothing required from the centre forward, he probably would, because Mopai's like that. So
fair play. Who knows what Big Solomon would have done, but he's quite happy in River Plate, I think, at the moment. Lila's going for Forest, Leeds and Southampton. Said they're all woeful, but thank God. Yes. Yes, I think so. Yeah. I won't get me hopes up until I see Dom on the pitch. Yeah. That's probably a good way to be honest. But I mean, the fact that he's putting that must mean he's starting to feel strong again, which is obviously what we need. That's what it's about, isn't it? There's not really. That's all you can do, isn't it? All you can do is be confident or happy. Feel
confident
good
or happy.
Yeah.
Can you not be both?
Well, I don't know with Dom, because he looks either confident or he looks
get
happy.
Injured if he did both.
That's what it might be. So
I've got to pick one emotion. If I pick two,
I'm in trouble. Now, listen. Hopefully, I'd love him to come back and do the business a bit tonight, because it's a huge boost of Everton. If he could play the last 7 games, be a big boost for Everton. Makes Everton better. They're a better team, and he's in it.
Of course they are. They couldn't be a worse team, could they?
Again, it's like I said before, it's Everton. You just never. It's exactly, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Everton. It's terrible, but it's Everton, or whatever it was. Terrible. Is that what he said? Is it
terrible? But it's Everton.
Is that what it was? What was that in relation to?
Just life.
Oh, okay.
Just his running of Everton Football Club.
Okay. Yeah, he maybe
his general running of Everton.
He was being quite prophetic or pathetic, or I don't know, one of them. Sophie Gallagher says, always upbeat as ever. Soph says, Maupai's the worst striker ever. I rate Strach better than him. Well, to be fair, I actually agree with it. As in, Strach is more of a handful. It says, my nan would have scored that Maupai chance against Fulham. Fair play, but maybe your nan's a top finisher. And maybe you're not giving her the credit she deserves.
Maybe that's harsh on your nan.
Yeah.
Thinking she wouldn't finish it.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's,
there you go.
Isn't it Nias's birthday today? 33?
He can't be 33, surely. 34?
34.
Oh.
Good, fair play to him.
Fair play.
More goals for Everton in the Premier League than Mopai. That's all I know.
I mean, he got them more goals in the Premier League than Mopai when Koeman played him in his first Premier League game under Koeman. He come on against Bournemouth and scored 2. He doubled Mopai's chance. There you go.
My nephew got it right. Well, you were all running over to Marco Silva and
he ran in the ass.
He ran in the ass and got a shirt.
Fair play.
And treasures it to this day.
There you go. Jack Lee says maybe Price wants to leave because he knows Dyche ain't good with bringing young players through.
I think the decision was made before Dyche was even here.
But maybe that hasn't helped it either.
No, one without this.
But there you go. The players, the young lads will do what what's best for them nowadays, won't they? So
good luck to them.
Fair play. It's a failing on Everton's behalf, isn't it? Really, players are walking out the door. So there you go. Yeah. What can you do? Rob says rumours are Usmanov is the real owner of the club. Do you guys think the best thing would be if the Premier League investigated, and if Usmanov is the owner, take the club off him? Investors with a lot of money could buy the club. I don't know whether there's a paper trail to that. Some journalists have talked about it for years, but no one's really been able to get to the bottom of it, have they?
If that was the case, we'd already know, wouldn't we? With everything that's come out about Everton in the last month or so, and the amount of articles people have written about us, that, mentioning a shadowy figure behind who was alluded to, there is no evidence about that. So
they found it, surely.
We know that. Listen,
we all know,
don't we? You don't have USM this, USM that, proxy owners and all that kind of thing, but there is no paper trail. So the thing about it is, right, I'm still staggered by all this, because the guy owns the football club, and yet he still continues to have the same people running for him. Like, you've seen it. You've seen what's happened to the football club. Allow other people to come in and run the football club for you. People who are better. This is what's mad about it. He's had like 3 or 4 chances to bring other people in, and he still refuses to. That's what it's like. It's not. It could easily be turned round by just getting different people in to run it, and he chooses not to, which makes me think it is some kind of game show. There you go. Right, we've got Degsy on the line. Degsy,
hi guys.
Go on, mate.
How you doing? All right.
Hi, Degs. You all right, mate?
Sorry you don't hear from me too often now, but
it's all right,
depression has set in.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like everybody said earlier on in the calls, and you guys have said, we looked at that team sheet on Saturday, and was there a fan that didn't have their hearts sink when they looked at that team sheet? And I'm not just saying that, we were built with Dom coming. We saw the right back issue not get solved.
Yeah.
And everybody knows the lad, Godfrey can play left back, but he can't play right back. Patterson's, he's had practice matches. He's a right back. How's he going to get match fit if we don't let him play? It's a shame about Coleman, because he's probably been one of our best players.
Yeah.
I mean, last season, everybody's whinging that, he's finished. He's been like a blessing, hasn't he, this season?
Absolutely.
Coleman. He's been like a man possessed.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for Pickford, we'd have been down ages ago. But, this is Dominic Calvert-Lewin available? We're being led that he's available for this week, but everybody thought he was available for last week.
Yeah.
Is he match fit? I mean, we couldn't beat Chester, so
don't let the Chester thing come into it, Degsy. Come on.
No, but do you know what I mean? I mean, whether he's match fit or not, surely he should be at least scoring 1 goal against Chester, should he not?
Well, it's his first. I don't know, Dex. I'm not going to make excuses for them. I don't know, mate. Yeah. It's a bounce game. How much did he really put into it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Chester, it'll mean a lot more to them than it will to the lads running around for Everton, won't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm bouncing my call around as well. I'm going over all sorts of subjects. We all cried out the last couple of seasons about our under-21s getting stale with Unsworth being around for quite some time. Well, now we're seeing that they're making decisions and they're moving on, or we're deciding to put them in the squad.
Yeah.
So isn't that what we wanted anyway?
Yeah.
If these guys aren't happy at the club, let them go. Let's get a bit of money in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, but the guys who I think, if you follow the club in depth and you look at Stanley Mills, the young lad that was in the squad on Saturday, the midfield player, not Isaac. I'm getting his name mixed up. I'm very sorry. the young kid plays midfield. The coloured lad, young.
Do you mean the lad on the left back, Samuel Schmidt?
No. Yes.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
a left back. Is he Samuel
he's
Schmidt?
A left back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these guys obviously want to play. They're playing in the first. They've joined the first team squad.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the ones that want to stick around. And maybe our under-21s and our academy is now working the way it should work.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
which it obviously wasn't. So if players in the under-21s in the academy decide to leave, we've spent money getting them that far.
Mm.
Let them go and let's at least get our money back.
Mm.
And put some money back into the club. You know, that's the decision that they get from their advisors. Let's face it, everybody that leaves our club, for some reason, dive bomb, don't they? You know, it's the old adage, you find your club where you play well and you think, I can do better for myself, or your advisor says you can do better for yourself. And you dive bomb. I mean, Gordon's not pulling up any shakes at Newcastle, is he? How many players did we sell to Manchester City for 40, 50 million pounds? And how many have actually come of age there? Lukaku left, playing the best football he's ever played. And went back, you know, and maybe he's our player. You know, maybe at some stage he might come to realise that, and we can maybe afford to get him back, that he would be the player that we should buy. But, you know, are we ever going to be able to afford him?
No.
And now I'm going to go off on another tangent.
Go on. Tangents away, my friend. Go on.
Yeah, all the stories today about we're about to issue a statement about the funding sorted and everything, and from Sky Sports, and you'll hear today, and yet nothing. Do you know anything?
I hadn't even heard that, to be honest.
Circular Trust.
I hadn't heard that, mate. I hadn't heard anything about that, mate, to be honest, mate.
No, not heard
that.
That.
Topping off ceremony today at the stadium. Which I haven't heard nothing about. It was supposed to happen today. I believe Colin Chong was involved in that. Apparently no one from the board was going to be there. But there's been nothing said. There's been nothing said about that.
It's only been Sky, hasn't it?
I've not heard anything about any funding, to be honest, Diggs. Not from anyone I've spoke to.
Oh yeah, I've read stories on Sky that you know the funding was.
Oh, you mean are you talking about the Alan Myers thing?
Yeah, you know these people are coming to buy some shares.
No,
I mean,
I think Alan. I think Alan is just putting out there what he already knew, and I don't think the story's really progressed. I don't know where it's going. The club again have gone dark. We're not hearing anything coming out. The only person we hear from the club, isn't it, is Sean Dyche. She's the only person we hear from. We don't hear from anyone else. The board of
man's put up for a cannon.
Yeah, the board are running scared. There's no communication, positive, negative, or otherwise. And I don't think we're going to hear anything till it actually happens. So
no, and that's not going to happen till we're safe, or if we get safe, isn't it? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't worry. To be honest, I don't. I don't worry
about the stadium getting finished.
You just hear you hear scare stories about the stadium far too often. People putting stuff out about it. At the end of the day, the stadium is funded till the end of the year. You know, that's already in place. That's funded to the end of the year. It's the last bit. And obviously, Mashiri wants investors to pay for that because he knows he's going to have to pay for it. And if he's not putting money into the stadium, it means he's not putting it into the team. And that's going to have huge ramifications for us on the pitch. So he needs somebody.
That's what happened at Arsenal, wasn't it? That's why they went dormant for a while. They had to pay for the stadium, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not that bothered about players coming through. Again, I'm coming back to that again. I think we've got players to come through.
Okay.
There's some good players in this under-21 squad at the moment, isn't there? Some good young talent. And I think, really, it's only our strike force we need to sort out, in my eyes. I think we've got a midfield that's not too bad. We've got defenders that can do a job at the moment. But we just got to find a striker from somewhere, haven't we? That's all I think we're missing, really, you know. and bring Richarlison back. I saw him the other day again with Yerry Mina in that restaurant. I go in restaurants in Southport every day. I'm like part of the furniture. And I go in for my lunch. And Yerry Mina lives in there as well. And Richarlison was in there and he hates London.
Yeah.
Absolutely hates London.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit in, you see.
Yeah.
He's a guy, like we all know, he likes to walk around in his basketball gear and his flip-flops. Well, if you play in London, that's not how you behave, is it?
You got a job in here,
Do you know what I mean?
No,
Well,
I
do you know
can't see
what I
Richarlison.
mean?
I can't see Richarlison coming back anytime soon, Degs, because you need money to buy him, and we ain't got any money, mate.
You've got, but he just absolutely talks about it all the time. He absolutely hates London and doesn't fit in, and he's just back all the time, living in Merseyside whenever he can.
That's it, mate. But unfortunately, there's no money to bring him back. So
we needed to sell him to get that money in,
of course,
to balance the books.
Yeah. So
and fair shake, he waited 2 years to leave, didn't he? He was promised he could go, and he waited 2 years. So it's just. I go every week now. You know, I'm going every week now, and I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah.
No, it is sad.
You know, and then I picked up that I walked through the fan zone, and one of the stewards, as they always do, they come up to me and give me a team sheet, and I looked at it and I looked at him and I thought, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
What's this about? Maupay?
Aye, I know. Yeah.
Don't get it.
No.
Ellis Sims at least shows in a game, doesn't he? I know we've had our disagreements about Ellis Sims in the past. Do you know what I mean? But he shows in a game at least, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen.
He's not going to be a Wayne Rooney, we know that. And he's probably never going to be a Calvert-Lewin. But he's a hell of a lot better than Maupay. Do you know this tactic? This tactic of that we've got now, and I believe it's the right tactic with Pickford lobbing the ball forward, because we've got to get it away from our box as quickly as possible. And but to Maupay, why would you play a ball in the air to Maupay? but why would you play a ball to Maupay in the first place? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Don't understand it.
Well, next time you see Richarlison, tell him, say, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I do. I say to him, you wish you were wearing a royal blue shirt now, mate, don't you? And he just looks at you as though to say, you know, what's going on? But, you know, and I mean, he just holds his hands up and can't believe that he's not at least getting 10 minutes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows, okay, he might break down, but he would bleed for Everton. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he should play. He should play Saturday.
He should start. He should start every week.
Yeah, he should.
And we've got enough centre halves if he does have to come off. Do you know what I mean? But at least you've got a goal threat with him as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
No.
Yeah. I think Sean Dyche is the right man for the job at the moment, but I can't see him taking us forward.
No.
I mean, all I'll say for Dyche, I wasn't his biggest fan. He's done a good job at Burnley and all that, but he's come into a crap situation, and it's all he's just firefighting at the moment, Dex, isn't he? He's probably the only man that would have taken the job with the equipment that was available to him because he wanted a job. It's difficult, isn't it? Because for him, it's been high alert ever since he come in, hasn't it? He's not had a chance to really get his breath, I imagine, and plan for what he wants to do moving forward. So that's why
he doesn't even get a laugh in his press conferences anymore when he does his little quips, does he?
I think he's too quick for some of the journals, I think, anyway.
Yeah,
his one-liners are too quick.
Well, some of them journalists are spending too much time in the smoke room, aren't they, basically? I don't know. How did they make it to the press conference, some of them guys? You know what I mean? They're too busy planning the next story 3 weeks ahead. Well, there we go. I've been all over the place, I know. Yeah. But there we go.
There you go, Dex. Good stuff.
Best of luck. Let's get a win.
Yeah,
Let's get a win at Palace.
Just get a win.
Anybody got a ticket? I want to go.
You've just said you didn't want to go.
No, I want to go to Palace. I love going to Palace.
Yeah, been to Palace a few times.
It's a great stadium, isn't it?
It's
a nice
good.
stadium.
It's good.
It's
good.
It's
an
it's good if you're on about the first 6 rows, Degs. After that, you're watching letterbox football.
What I mean here is it's got an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Are you getting this confused with Buckingham Palace?
No, it has got a good atmosphere, Palace. They do make it noisy down there, to be fair.
Believe me, they'd never let me in Buckingham Palace.
Oh.
Hey, you're a military man. They would let you in.
Yeah, but
ex-Schalke player. You know, you never get in.
I'd still be nicking everything.
Okay. This is not admissible as in a court of law.
No, they've never caught me. Anyway,
fair enough.
Fair play. Let's I think before you incriminate yourself anymore, Degs, let's just
leave it there,
my mate.
Thanks, Deg.
And when's it? Are we having a party at the end of the season or what?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
I can't honestly, Degs. We will be the first to know if we are doing shorten our Premier night out.
We've got to do something at the maybe we could have one round the gates at Bramley Moor or something like that. You know,
you
barbecue
never know.
at the gates.
You'll never know, mate.
We'll either burn it down.
Again, the views of Degsy are not
shared by Toffee TV.
Whether it's stealing from Buckingham Palace or burning stadiums.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I haven't got a clue either, mate.
Get back on the meds, mate.
Degs, take it easy. Go on, mate. See you later. Ta-ra.
Yeah, cheers,
See you,
guys.
mate. Ta-ra, Degs. Ta-ra. I mean, Degs, he was wild there.
He was wild. Definitely dropped the...
He went from... It's medication time, 6 o'clock. Yeah. He has said that before in the past. 6 o'clock is medication time.
Around. At 6.
And who knows what's going on.
There you go.
But... it's all good, yeah, honest. See what happens. He might be right. We might go to Palace and
no,
we might win.
Trying to get over some of the things he said there. Can't process that.
No. Well, you've got to let it in one ear out the other. To be fair, haven't you?
It's fair enough.
You can't keep anything Degsy said on board there. It's just there was too much there. There's too much to him. Not to be fair, he still was a bit more coherent than Ned at times, but fair play. Fair play. We have got Pat. He said Pat was going to be on. I mean, the one I'm disappointed in is Tony, who was asked about 40 times how to get on. You just click the link on the post and you're in.
Just click it.
It's just dead simple.
People in Nova Scotia can do it. People in Chicago can do it. But Tony can't. Go on, Pat.
This is the first loss we've had in this shirt I got for my birthday. The one without the steak logo. We had been undefeated with it. Very sad. But that is the angriest I've been. I was ranting and yelling and throwing an absolute fit after that game. Not only should we have been 3-1 up at halftime, Mope's 5-yard header straight into Bird Leno's hands was infuriating beyond all belief. If it wasn't for Dwight McNeil, I don't think we would have done anything. That is the best game I've seen Dwight McNeil play.
Yeah, it's not hard though.
He actually was clever with the ball. He was secure with it. He was dribbling. He was coming back and helping out Godfrey or Patterson to get out of trouble and like outside of our 6-yard box. But 6-yard box, 18, probably 6, but 18-yard box. We look so bad without Decore and Onana. Onana because he and Ghana do a great job cleaning things up, but we always look so shaky without him defensively, no matter how his deficiencies going forward. And we so badly missed Decore. I don't even know. I'm normally pretty positive, but that was draining to watch. Just mistakes everywhere. Patterson looked rusty. Mikolenko looked slow. I don't know. It's feeling desperate. Luckily, Forest, Leicester, and Southampton might be worse, and Leeds. They all might be worse.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they are.
Yeah, I mean, because otherwise we're in real trouble, aren't we? Really. Doesn't weeks are going, games are going by. Pat, aren't they? The weeks are flying by, and
that's 7 games left.
7 to go.
We got to get 3 wins probably to be close to safe. And I mean, a month ago I would have said Palace and Leicester. Leicester should be a win. Wolves will be tough because they're playing a little bit better, but we should be able to beat them. They've looked dreadful at times too, and the scary thing about Bournemouth is they can score, and they seem like they got some fight to them. You just hope they're safe by then, and they have their flip flops and their beach short and their swimming trunks on by that last game.
Yeah,
I don't know who do you guys think? Are we the fourth worst team?
Well, we are right now, aren't we? I mean, we are just because.
Well, I know, but
we are. But
come the end, are we on talent the fourth worst team?
Yeah, I think we are because I don't know if you can say. I don't know whether you can look at it as in we are definitely the fourth worst team. I just think that goals, you can say we're a decent team, but we just need goals. But I thought the idea of playing football was to score goals. I thought that was the idea. I mean, you can have a great team.
Yeah.
We had a good team under Martinez. And then even when we had a good team, we didn't necessarily score loads of goals. It was just Lukaku, and we conceded loads of goals. It's about having a balance, isn't it? And we just don't score a lot of goals. And defensively, we're not great either. Again, there is a thing of Sean Dyche makes you defensively solid. We're still the second worst team in the Premier League for our defence under Sean Dyche. But to me, playing football is all about scoring goals. That's the only metric that matters. You look at the numbers for goals scored. The teams at the bottom. I think it's us, Southampton and Forest have got the worst. I think it's 24 goals. And we're four of the worst. 3 of the worst 4 teams in the Premier League. So that metric obviously is huge. You can't go through the season going, well, we're all right defensively, but we can't score goals. It's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters, scoring goals. And if you're consistently scoring goals, you just mentioned Bournemouth there, they can score goals. As bad as they are defensively, they can score goals, and that will get you out of trouble, and you can have 3-2 wins against Spurs or whatever. If you've got that fight in you and you're taking the game to the opposition know they're in for some kind of difficulties. I looked at Fulham on Saturday. As soon as they seen Maupay, they said, let's play 10 yards higher up the pitch. Immediately. Same thing happened when we got rid of Lukaku. Everybody come the season after and went, we can play 10 yards higher up the pitch because these haven't got Lukaku. If you haven't got a threat, teams don't fear you and they have a go at you straight away. And that's where we are right now.
And we have theoretically the best back line we probably had in the past. Maybe, I guess, the Lescott Jags pairing instead of Stones and Jags, but that's a pretty good with Baines and Coleman. That's an excellent back four. And we still were hemorrhaging goals. I liked Garner's movement, but he looked lightweight and unable to do the defensive duties. Promising in some moments, but he was putting effort in. It's like he and Iwobi cannot play together because they're the same kind of player. They're creative, they're ball movers, and they try really hard, but they don't have the defensive. They don't have the defensive nous. They don't have that defensive technique and strength to get people off the ball or tackle well or turn the ball over. Both of them are getting dribbled past and getting passed through all the time, and it was very frustrating to watch. And I don't know. I would have about Maupay. I would have said it would have been hard to top my hatred for a player than Tom Cleverley, who I think you've all heard me say how much I hated him, or Niasse, or oh my God, just some of the dross that Martinez brought in. But I think Maupay has replaced Tom Cleverley as my most hated player of the past 10 years.
Fair play to you. Fair play. It's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement.
I must admit there's someone in the team that I don't like, but no, listen. Again, no, players don't buy themselves. They don't pick themselves, do they? They come and they do what they try and do what they're paid to do. And
no player goes out to play poorly. Yeah. No matter what we think of them, whether we think ability are good enough or whatever, they don't go to play poorly, do they? But Neil Maupay, for me, it's just it just didn't make sense at the time, and it hasn't made sense since. Yeah, and that's just the way it is. That's where I leave the Maupay thing. That I never got it. He wasn't quick. He hasn't got a trick. He's not a penalty box striker. He's not big and strong. So he's just a second striker with a big man. And is he even that? I don't know.
No, he's not a particular. He's not a particular. He's not a particular. Yeah. Go on, Pat. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was
going to say he's just not a particularly good footballer. And when you buy people who are not good, particularly good footballers, what do you expect? What do you expect? Again, there's a lot of talented footballers out there that Everton just seem to ignore because they don't play in the Premier League or because certain people at the football club have never heard of them. It will be the thing that comes back to bite us. People keep on saying, how do Brighton do it? How do Brentford do it? Well, they have a plan. They take a chance on players, which isn't a chance because they've been well scouted. They've looked at them. They've gone through all the due diligence. They know what they want. And then they're not surprised. Brighton are not surprised by the players being good because they bought them. Do you know what they're buying? Boughton. Do you know what they're bought? He's the next one. He's going to replace the centre midfielder. Yeah, but we're we got linked the other day with the other kid from PSV that we should have bought for £8 million.
Sangari.
Sangari. And yet we're all like, well, why? People get paid really well at Everton to make these decisions and they don't make them, and then they buy dross, and then people go, oh, you can't have a go at them. And my answer to that is, why can't you have a go at them regardless? Why can't you have people who are terrible at their jobs, whether they're on the pitch, off the pitch, or in the boardroom? Why can't you have a go at them? These people get paid really, really well, and they make terrible decisions. Like as I said, Mopai comes on and he tries to work hard, but he's just not a good footballer. And what you've got to hold your football club to, by the way, is also, and this is something which does sort of annoy me now and again, is when people go, say to Liverpool fans or Arsenal fans or Man United fans, say, oh, listen to yous having a go because you haven't won a trophy for the year. That's just having standards. Maybe if our fans had done that over the years, or our fans who are in the club hadn't sort of degraded our standards over the years, then maybe we would be like that. Whereas we're like that, we're looking at it going, oh, we could get 12th. Whoa, wouldn't that be a great season? These clubs have all ran away from us because every year our standards have just got worse and worse and worse, and we've allowed these people within our football club to allow these standards to erode, and yet those people are still put on pedestals because, and you can't have a go at them. Mad. I don't get it personally. I don't get it personally. Life's too short.
Just don't make it personal. Never go with them.
Disappointing season. Yeah, and I'm not saying I hate Mopé as a person. I just hate him as a footballer.
No, sorry, Pat. It's too late now, mate.
You've said that now. It's out your mouth. It's left your mouth.
Okay.
No, too late.
There we go. It's up there. Cancelled.
No, it is frustrating, Pat. It's frustrating. We keep making the wrong decisions time and time again. You know, Terry Moffey will be the latest one. You know, been banging on about him for a while. You know, we've got there's just so many, mate. Moffey was 16 million. We could have got him the minute he went to Lorient. We could have got him. We've left it. He's gone to Nice. We've linked with us the other day. He'd be 35 million now. Sangari, 8 million quid. No, not good enough. Let's go to. You know, now we'll look at him. It's 30 million. It's just all the time. It's all the time. Just becomes tiring.
We were Thelwell apparently, and Frank and the board were high on Fuller and Balogun and bringing him in on loan, but we're unsure about his potential. Goes and tears it up at Reims, and we could have had him on loan, and he would have been our striker this year because Arsenal were shopping about looking for a good place for him to play every game. And you're not saying that if DCL was healthy that he wouldn't have played, and then the second he gets injured we would have him, and now if we want him they would demand an exorbitant loan fee or 40-50 million to buy him from Arsenal because they have Gabby Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. So that's just another thing. It's like, oh yeah, we were interested and we were looking at, well then take a risk. He would have been a backup to DCL in the plans. We could have guaranteed him a lot of playing time. But we didn't do that. That's just another example of a mistake where they bring out the rhetoric after the fact saying, oh, we're interested in him now, but we've always had our eye on him. We were even thinking about loaning him in the summer. Okay.
Musha Diaby watched them so many times, Everton, and didn't pull the trigger. didn't take him. He's now worth 60, 70 million. Leon Bailey, all right, he's been a little bit hit and miss for Villa, but we could have got him cheaper than what. It just goes on, mate. The list goes on and on. I mean, the Blues has said to me, bet you're banging your head against the wall watching his overhead kick last week. Well, no, I've seen it lots of times with him. He's really good. He'd been a massive difference. FC Graham says to be considered a striker, you need to score goals. Yeah, otherwise, you're just a player. Maupai's barely a player.
That's the only metric. Strikers score goals. That's the only metric that matters. That's why I have the same thing with attacking players. Any attacking player. Your job is to create goals and score goals. If you score one goal all season, you're not an attacking player, and you have got no right to be in our football club. Simple as that.
It's just
whether you've got a mask over your face doing rap videos or not.
The fact of the matter is, players can go out and work hard. That's great. That's brilliant. But you will be judged by what you're there for. People have become too sensitive with if they like a player, but you've got to look at it and go, now, to be fair to Dwight McNeil, he's got 4 goals, which is, if he gets another, to be the best he's ever done. So he's weighed in with some, but that's still not quite enough. We need him to be getting at least half a dozen. You need your right winger to be getting at least half a dozen. Ideally, they get between 6 and 10. Yeah. You'd have a midfield player breaking from midfield who gets 6 at least, and your centre forward should be getting 10 to 15. And then the lad on the bench, who's your other centre forward, should also be capable of getting 10 goals. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you've got some goals in your team. You should have another winger that is capable of getting 5 or 6. These players are all over the gaff. They're everywhere.
But we buy these players and they've got no track record of goals. That's what annoys me. Yeah, they have no track record of goals.
And then Alex we sit here going, why is no
Alex Iwobi, no track record of goals. Damari Gray, you know, you've got McNeil, you've got Maupay, we've got all over we've got pitch. Someone said this was a while ago, can't remember who it was. It was someone within the game, and they were like, Everton continue to buy players who don't score goals. Like,
and you know it was, you're just not saying it.
Yeah. But it's all the time. They just buy players who don't have anything in them. You know, there's so many of them. And you're like, what? So they're coming to Everton and suddenly they're going to score goals. And you've just sold someone who scores 10 to 12 goals a season. Then you have to replace him with someone who scores 10 to 12 goals. And you already know.
Abigail says we could have got Watkins when he left Brentford. Yeah. We could have got Watkins in the summer, Abigail. If we'd have sold Gordon earlier or we'd have committed to it. Villa, Everton were interested in him. He was interested in coming. Villa, Gerrard wanted him out.
Gerrard didn't like him.
He wanted him out. He was ready to go. We didn't have the money. And he ended up staying, and he still wasn't getting in at first. He was fuming. They sack him, Emery comes in, puts his arm around him. Now he's getting a new contract. The list just goes on, it goes on, it goes on. And you know, it is great. You need a plan, you need a way of playing. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. That's brilliant, but you also need lads who put the ball in the back of the net.
Pat, we can hear you. Can Pat not hear us?
I think he's disconnected.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Pat.
Pat.
Excellent.
But he kept on saying, hello.
Excellent. Okay, get Tony on then. Is he on? No? All right, well, tell us when he's on.
Your job. I mean, literally, again.
I can hear someone.
You know, it's your job.
Are we on now?
It's Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Wow, I actually got through.
See? You were always going to get through, but just don't know why you weren't pressing the link. But anyway.
Well, I should have been paying you guys for months. I've been watching you guys for years.
There you go. But you're here now.
I finally got into the system, and so now you get $5 from the United States. I hope you enjoy it.
Whereabouts, Tony? Whereabouts from?
I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's eastern Tennessee. It's near Atlanta and Nashville.
I've heard the Chattanooga. It's fine. That's
good
brilliant.
Good team in Chattanooga, haven't they?
Yeah, Chattanooga, yeah.
Yeah, your buddy Cam, he could not pronounce Chattanooga. I sent him a message one time.
He can't pronounce a lot of it.
Cam's are otherwise occupied.
Yeah.
He can pronounce babies. Anyway, go on, Tony. Go on, mate. What do you want to say?
Well, I don't want to have a downer because I know we're having a bad year, but I want to get your guys' feedback on Ben Godfrey and why they signed this guy. And they put him at left back and they put him at right back. And like, what is the deal with this guy? I mean, Man United, that game, I was like, what is this guy doing? He jumps up for a header. The ball goes over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. So what's the plan with Ben? You know, they spent a lot of money on this guy.
First of all, I feel like I'm watching like a Netflix series with his voice. Your voice is tremendous, Tony. I'm loving it. Basically, Ben Godfrey, I think he's always been, this has been his problem in his career. He was a defensive midfield player who Norwich bought from York. He'd been on loan at Shrewsbury and been excellent. Yeah. Well, Norwich bought him, then they put him on loan at Shrewsbury. He was defensive midfield and he was brilliant. I remember he played against West Ham in the FA Cup, 5th round, whatever, and he was excellent. Then Norwich decided in their wisdom to retrain him almost as a centre-back.
What are you going to say? It's mechanic.
Or a mechanic as well. As a centre-back. And he had some good games and some bad games, but positionally, he was a bit all over the place. And we've said this before. When we signed him, one of our mates, Jack, is a Norwich season ticket holder. And we done a video with him, and he said he's a great athlete, he's really quick, but positionally, he's still all over the place, and he'll have to sort that out if he's going to be a defender. But he's come to Everton. We've played him centre-back, and positionally, he's a little bit all over the place. And then Carlo put him at left-back when we needed one, because Luca Dean got injured, and Fabian Delphin, he got injured, so Godfrey went there, and he had his best games. They tried him at right-back, doesn't quite work, and at centre-back, I think, positionally, he's been hit and miss. He's not great in the air, so that's a little bit of an issue for a centre-back.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But positionally, that's his real problem, and so because of that, and also he's had a few injuries, so he's never been able to really nail down that position. And so now we're seeing what we're seeing, Tony, which is he looks short on confidence. Since his injury, I don't think he's got quite back up to speed, and he's a little bit all over the place. And I think personally, they just put the kid back in defensive midfield and go, that's your position. If you know that role, maybe try and play there, but otherwise you're going to have to put him in and just leave him in. But I think it's too delicate of a situation to put him there at the moment. Yeah, that's kind of where we're up to.
It's really unfair for him for his career, where you're just like, well, you play left back against Man U, then you can play right back, and like, how are you supposed to establish yourself as a player when you're they just keep swapping you around.
He's one though. I mean, he wouldn't look out of place at the NFL Combine, I must admit. He'd be super. Oh, yeah. He's that kind, but he is that kind of. He's an athlete. It's like he's an athlete, and they're trying to make him into a footballer. He's someone who he's physically got all the attributes. Pace wise, he's got all the attributes. He'd fit into so many other sports, but as a footballer, the things you need most are, definitely, in the air, he's appalling. His timing is unbelievably poor for someone who's over 6 foot. And his positioning, as Baz says, is horrendous. And they've tried him he's not a centre-back because he's not switched on enough. I don't think he's got enough sort of in-game intelligence. I don't think he's a natural defender who smells the danger. And we've seen him get caught out at left back, at right back, and I just don't think he's good enough. I used to think he had a great future at Everton. I don't think he's got any future at Everton. I think if Everton were looking to get rid of players, I think he'd bomb them straight away. I just don't think he's got the attributes to be a good enough footballer. I think he's an athlete, but I also don't think he's got the intelligence to turn that athleticism into something. I don't think he's got the ability to play centre midfield, because I just don't think he'd be switched on to see runners running past him. And I think that's just.
I think sometimes with some players like that, they can only really play one position. And I think if that's his natural, but if he's been a footballer all his life, he's played all his life, naturally you will just go to that one position and understand it. If you're not really I think the thing he's no good for his heading is, because he's always had defenders behind him to take care of that. So it's only about jumping when the ball's here. I think he's not a great footballer, like technically, but he's an athlete who can compete, and he's good. He's a good tackler.
They need to harness it into
But they do, that's what I mean. I think you're right as well, Tony. I think if you keep just throwing him here 1 week, there the next week, centre-back the next week, then back, he's never ever going to settle. And what happens is the game moves on so quickly that players stagnate. We've seen it with Tom Davies. Listen, I'm not saying Tom Davies was ever going to be amazing, but he's another one who stagnated. I guess Mason Holgate will be another one. Yeah. The players who looked like they were going to do all right for themselves, and because they've then become a little bit of jack of all trades, maybe they've they've kind of lost any kind of regression.
They never have a manager long enough to have the faith in them to say, I'm going to develop you. So what happens is the next manager comes in, and you're right, Tom Davis, Ben Godfrey, there'll be other players who, there'll be something that a manager sees, and then the next manager doesn't see them, so just throws them on or throws them into a position because there's an attribute. Tom,
he's almost like he almost would be, but we don't play like that, like a sweeper. If you were playing three at the back, you'd almost say, well, one of your centre backs is going to win it, the other one will be maybe your ball player, and the other one will tidy up in the middle because he's got that recovery pace and he can sit either behind your two centre backs or almost into a libero role in front of him. But Everton don't play that way.
I just don't think he's good.
No, what I'm saying, but Everton don't even play that way. I don't think
he's got the intelligence to play that way.
So really, I don't know what we do with him, Tony, to be honest. Sean Dyche will have a better idea. He's working with him day in, day out. But just right now, I don't know what we do with him.
All right, boys. I appreciate you taking my call. First time caller.
Glad you got through, mate. Just glad that you got through. And good to have you
on
board.
In Tennessee.
Good to have you on board. Cheers, thanks for calling in, Tony.
Hey, I guess it was a good question because you guys actually had some things to talk about.
That was a good question. Very good question. Keep them coming. We look forward to you calling again.
Cheers, Tony.
Tennessee. Take it easy, mate. Take care.
All right, boys. Love you.
Mate.
Love
See you later. Bye.
Chattanooga.
Tremendous. What a place. Chattanooga, Chicago, Nova Scotia. Truly worldwide. And, of course, I'll put with Dexy.
Yeah.
With Dexy.
That's all you can say.
What can you say? Stanley Park said Godfrey would do well in Emmerdale. Okay.
Hollyoaks.
He has got more of a Hollyoaks vibe.
Hollyoaks, definitely. It's local.
The trim.
It's local. He wouldn't have to go far.
No, he's got the physique.
I think he's got the look.
He's got the look. The look I've loved. That's the look. Okay, I'll just very quickly refresh our Premier.
Look, got the look.
Dexy says Neil Maupay, life is too short, and so is he. Grant says, just talking about Ben Godfrey, I could be completely wrong here, but with him going off with concussion against Fulham, is there a certain period of time? I think he may well be out. It depends how bad it, I think. How it was
3 weeks.
It used to be, but I don't know whether it still is. It might be 2 weeks, but we'll know tomorrow, won't we? I think the press conference is tomorrow, but we'll know more then. But I imagine he will be out this game. I imagine. Bainey says, would love to have come on to talk about Sims, just to say he's been put on the pitch in some of our toughest matches since Dyche, but not against a team like Fulham at home is maddening. Yeah. It is maddening. I personally don't understand the manager's thinking on it. It's given
stuff like that is baffling. Though, to a norm, like this is the thing that I don't think fans can quite understand. It does take a while because we're playing with new managers, and we have a new manager every year. So, but it's baffling, isn't it? Where you can't quite fathom how a player can start at Old Trafford, start at Anfield, and then we've said for weeks he hasn't started the game at Goodison Park, and you're like, what don't they get? Why do football managers at times, do you think there's times where football managers are almost complicated so everyone thinks the job is harder than it is? Do you know what I mean? It's like
they do seem to make it harder.
We had a team, this is what I don't get, right? And I know it can be different for different people, but we had a team, we lost the Corey. The team aren't that good in the first place, and they aren't that intelligent. We haven't got loads of intelligent footballers. So to me, the thing you do is you find someone who's a little bit like the Corey and you put him in the team, or you get another centre midfielder and you say to someone like, Onana, can you play like the Corey does? Because you physically can get around the pitch like he does. Right, that to me is the basics you do. No, you change 3 positions for the sake of one, or you change formation. I don't get that. You start with one player up front, then the week later where you change it to another player who hasn't had a sniff for weeks. It's like, what are you trying to do? Why are you trying to,
If I was Ellis Sims, I'm thinking, hang on, you've started me at Anfield and you started me at Old Trafford, right? And I've come off the bench at Chelsea and scored a late equaliser. Now we've got Fulham at home with championship defenders, right? or lads who were in the Championship last season coming up, they've been good this season. I just mean that's only, you know, they just come up, and yet you're not giving me a chance. You're starting with another lad who's not had a kick and doesn't look sharp. How am I not getting in it with an opportunity at home where we're going to create more chances than we have done away from home, and I might get on the end of stuff?
And there's also another thing, and I don't know whether to take this into account, but we spoke about it loads. The idea of when you get the team sheet at 2 o'clock, does that team sheet give you optimism, and does that mean that when you walk into the ground, there's a general buzz about the ground because it's, you know, you've got we spoke about this yesterday, and I put some, like, you've got to build the crowd up, you've got to give optimism to them, you've got to create an atmosphere. Sometimes it doesn't just, you know, I've seen people just go to the ground and sing. That doesn't work. No. It doesn't always work. We all have emotions. Sometimes it's hard to pick ourselves up. You can't just walk on the ground and suddenly go, I'm going to be amazing today and I'm going to sing over the whole thing. Things will happen during the games. There's ebbs and flows. That starts before the game. If you put a team shelter, got Mopai on, everyone's going to feel the same. We've got no chance of winning this game because he's rubbish. Whereas at least with someone like Sims, you go, well, he's a young lad who knows.
I think of football, I know exactly what you mean, but I think of Sean Dyche wouldn't look at it that way. He'd see Ellis Sims, he sees Mopai training, he probably thinks he's decent. The problem is, as Stanley Park says, baffling is the word. We need goals, and Sims is the only one who looks like scoring. Out the two, Sims looks more dangerous.
I don't think there's loads between them, but that's why I'm making the point. Because if Mopai had this amazing track record of scoring goals, just happened to be in a slump, then I'd go, the manager can't possibly be taking the word of fans. I get that. I see this all the time. I'm a massive sort of believer in not hyping young players up. I've said this all the time, you know, with Anthony Gordon and all that, because all what happens is they flatter to deceive, or they have ups and downs, and then fans start getting on the back. But with someone like Ellis Sims, I do genuinely believe he's got more to offer than Mopai, because I've seen the evidence.
I just think he's a natural finisher. He mightn't do loads of other stuff, but
people will give him the benefit of the doubt.
And physically. Yeah. I mean, I'll call him Troyson. I used to know how to say his name. Steve. Yeah. No, it's Tosin, isn't it? At the back. He's massive. Right, Everton looked at him many times. Right, he was at Blackburn on loan and all that. He's a big lad. In fact, we nearly had him a few seasons ago when his contract was run down. City, he's huge. So knowing that you've got Ellis Sims, who's 6'3", okay, he's not Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the air. He's not, you know, what Duncan Ferguson used to be. He's not a big, strong centre forward, but he's 6'3". So therefore, just physically, he's big and he can back in. He scored goals. Why would you then put a lad on who's my size and go, well, we're gonna knock it up, and you're not gonna win, and try to win a second ball? We're gonna try and
win the second ball when we've only got two midfielders.
To me, it was baffling this week, and hopefully he's put that one to bed. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen again.
And this is the other thing: we're not all idiots. We go to match. We've got eyes. We watch football. We're not all, because we all haven't got our badges, and we don't, you know, well, Alex Iwobi had 3 key passes in this game. We're not idiots. We do see the game. We do understand what it takes to be a footballer. Okay, there's loads of nuances where we go, well, yeah, but the manager asked him to do this and that. We're not stupid. We know when someone's not good enough. And we know when someone actually deserves an opportunity. You know, at time, people in football like to make football sound like it's like rocket science to justify their own failures. We're not stupid. No. We understand. We get football. And as I said, there'll be loads of stuff that you break down on the training field where we'll go, oh God, I didn't even think about that, or I get all that. But they try and make out like, well, you don't get this. You don't get it. You're not in the game.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
It's crap. It's nonsense. We've all been around the game for years, all of us.
I've watched footy for many bleeding years, over 40 years. I understand football.
Exactly.
Played football at a good level. I understand it. I've got coaching, but I understand.
I've kicked bars at a good level.
Yeah. You know what I mean? We understand it. Yeah. We might, like you say, there's little intricacies and there's little things going on and different plays that we don't understand because we're not on the training ground with them. Yeah. But we can understand what we see. And I know that, trust me, if there was a chance falling to Ellis Sims or Neil Maupay, I'd want it to go to Sims.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Luddite. I understand the importance of things like XG and all that kind of thing. I've bought into all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there's a lot of nonsense talked to. And by the way, I'm not being one of those people who's like, pressing is just closed. I'm not like that. But what I'm saying is a lot.
I mean, it is just closing down, but
there are a lot of things said to justify certain people's jobs in football. When we've all got eyes, we understand the game.
I just would if you're giving me a one-on-one at the weekend and it's Ellis Sims or it's Neil Maupay, I want Sims on it.
I'm scoring that chance. I am. I don't care.
Of course you would.
I'm giving Ned a 50-50
because you just drive it. Well, I don't know, 40-60, but you just hit the ball. You wouldn't be trying to dink it when you know you're in the box with people around you.
You look for the big space.
You just, mate, it out of your feet and you smash it in a corner and it's in. It's a goal. Ellis Sims scores it. Maupay doesn't. There you go. But hopefully Maupay might bang one in from 35 at the weekend and we win the game. There you go. Are we done? Yeah, that's us done. We've done loads. Thank you for everyone. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you very much. Subscribe to Toffee TV Football as well for all your non-Everton stuff. It's tremendous. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you later. Take it easy. Bye.